The names of Akushie's wife and children have been changed to protect their privacy. All other names, roles, and events are presented exactly as they appear in public court documents. There are moments in a family's life when the world reveals itself with a clarity so sharp it cuts. Moments when the mask of civility falls away and you see the truth of a person, an institution, a community. This story begins with such a moment, a night when a boundary was crossed so brazenly that it set in motion a chain of events no family should ever have to endure. For nearly a decade, the Akushie family had been part of Baldock Town Youth Football Club, not as bystanders, not as occasional participants, but as pillars. Ossie, a black British father of Ghanaian heritage, had given years of service as a coach, a manager, a mentor. Emmay, his wife, brought warmth, organization, and a spirit of community. Their children, Christian and Maria, grew up on those pitches, surrounded by friends, teammates, and the rhythm of grassroots football. They were not outsiders. They were not troublemakers. They were part of the heartbeat of that club. But on the evening of 18th August 2021, the ground shifted. A newly recruited coach, Ricardo Williams, began sending messages to Emmay. Not a handful, not a momentary lapse in judgment, more than 80 messages in the space of 2 hours, a barrage. A digital intrusion that grew more disturbing with every vibration of her phone. She told him to stop. She told him she was uncomfortable. He continued. This was not miscommunication. This was not misunderstanding. This was harassment, plain, direct, and deeply violating. And when a woman is harassed, when her peace is shattered in her own home, the first duty of any organization entrusted with children is to protect her, to act decisively, to uphold its own standards. But Baldock Town Youth Football Club did not rise to that duty. When Ossie and Emmay reported the incident following the club's own procedures, they expected professionalism. They expected safeguarding. They expected the welfare officer Sean Smith to do the job his title demanded. Instead, the club's leadership closed ranks around the perpetrator. Chairman Juan Cowell, welfare officer Sean Smith, and under-11 manager Jason Kitchener did not treat Emmay as a woman who had been harassed. They treated her a problem to be managed, a nuisance, an inconvenience. The club's response was not protection. It was punishment. They suspended her. They blamed her. They treated her complaint as an act of disruption rather than a cry for safety. And in that moment, the Akushie family saw the first glimpse of a truth that would become undeniable. BTYFC was not interested in justice. It was interested in control. But this family, educated, principled, and unafraid, did not shrink. They did not retreat into silence. They did what strong families do when confronted with wrongdoing. They stood firm. They documented. They challenged. They insisted on their rights. And that insistence, that refusal to be intimidated, triggered a reaction from the club that revealed something far more troubling than one coach's misconduct. Because when Ossie and Emmay made their complaint, they did more than report harassment. They committed what the Equality Act calls a protected act. And in the weeks that followed, the club's leadership would show the world exactly how they treat those who dare to speak up. But on that night, that first night, the harm was personal. A woman violated, a family shaken, a line crossed. The Akushies did not yet know that this was only the beginning. They did not yet know that the club they had served for years would soon turn its full weight against them. But they would learn, and they would respond with a strength that would echo far beyond the boundaries of a football pitch. This is the story of that journey, a journey that began with harassment and unfolded into discrimination, retaliation, and a campaign of intimidation that no family should ever face. Yet through it all, the Akushies did not bend. They did not break. They stood, as any family of principle would, in defense of their dignity, their rights, and their children. And that is where our story begins. This is the story of that journey, a journey that began with harassment and unfolded into discrimination, retaliation, and a campaign of intimidation that no family should ever face. Yet through it all, the Akushies did not bend. They did not break. They stood, as any family of principle would, in defense of their dignity, their rights, and their children. And that is where our story begins.